Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Campfire Stories RPG. As stated in the State of the Channel address, bit of an overhaul. So, we are going to be throwing you guys and all of my players into a brand new campaign using a brand new system. Please keep in mind, as we play this, we've never played this system before. It is still in beta, it's still in playtest, and that means you too can actually head over to Demiplane and playtest this out yourself. We're going to be using Critical Role's Daggerheart system, and if you don't understand the rules, don't worry. We'll kind of explain
okay,
things as it goes on. But yes, that's it for kind of the announcements portion of this. So, please join us by the firelight as we tell our story. We open in a massive combination of a castle and a university. A married concept of feudal, medieval, and modern. Massive buildings spire backwards, splitting into 5 different buildings. And to the left and right of this massive monolith, darkness and light alike, married together in a world most people don't even know exists. But we'll talk to those people in a second. See, today we talk about people who are behind the veil. People who understand the world of magic. People who understand what it means to be a hero. Some have been here for a good while, and some are just looking to make their name. And as a blustery breeze blows by, it takes just a second for a pair of twins to catch the hands of their mother and father as they time the breeze just right and say, okay, ready, 3, 2, and catch this wind coming by. To the point where some vehicles, carriages, cars, they can't even come up with the speed that these 4 are breaking past. And as they struggle to hold on to their knapsacks and any sort of garment accessories that they may be wearing, Bee and Dawn, you would like to, please tell us what we see.
Oh, I was being put on the spot immediately.
I can give you guys a roll. See who wants to go first.
That's not gonna help.
Wait, I'm just awkwardly like, who's going first?
I suppose I can, because I'm the one talking. You telling us to describe our characters.
Yes.
Um,
And how you're
well,
sort of
you
reacting
see,
to the situation at hand.
these 2 twins kind of look at each other. They're kind of like clinging to each other and to their parents. I guess as these things are carrying them off at the speed of light. Just trying to hold on to anything we have. And you might notice that as we're going, there's more than just knapsacks and backpacks on our backs. There are wings. Identical wings that are black and kind of fade from a purple to a blue. And we're, I imagine Dawn is too, flapping them to try and keep ourselves at least somewhat stable.
There's definitely, you guys have wind-ridden before, but your parents are pulling you along faster than you guys can kind of keep up, and you're sort of at the mercy of their grip. As they think that you're going to be late for the opening ceremonies, you guys still have at least a good 2-3 hours before the ceremonies happen, and you can already see the front of the academy. So,
It's like,
as Sonata looks over at her sister, what do we see with Piper, and how are they reacting to the situation?
Piper seems a lot calmer. Kind of still a bit shaken, but not thing. And out of everything, seems to be gripping onto a bag that seems to be a slightly different shape. So not your normal rucksack or anything. Shaped like an instrument, like a violin. Piper's gripping onto a violin case, making sure no damage can come onto it because it's one of their most precious possessions. They are trying to flap their wings, but understand it's pretty futile with how fast they're going to keep up. So try and save their energy for if they happen to fall and have to save themselves. And just letting themselves be pulled along while keeping an eye on Sonata to make sure Sonata's doing okay.
Both of you are doing slightly less than okay. You're being buffeted by various, errant leaves and twigs, and, doing the best you can to hold on to your stuff while also making sure that you don't get, dirty or damaged. Your mom is in a full, verbal diarrhea mode, where she's just like, now, look, okay, I'm aware that at this academy they like to, fight each other for money and for all of these things. Now, I don't want to see you guys getting into any trouble. Just, do what you came here to do, and, just be yourselves, right? Because I know that both of you are fighters. You catch about, I would say, 70% of what she's saying through, wind tunnels. But you get the gist of this, mostly because she's given you this talk about 60 times now. You stopped counting. Until finally, you are at the opening gates to the Defendus Academy. Cloaked in various different shades of blue and silver and white. It almost looks like dirt is not allowed to touch these gates, these doors. That's how spotless they've been cleaned. Students are being ushered in, they're saying goodbye to their parents. You see around you an amalgamation of various different races, creeds, heights, builds, creatures that are 4 times your size, and creatures that, you know, are even slightly smaller than you, weirdly enough. They all seem to be kind of getting ushered into this main hall area that you can see through the doors. But your parents are... Well, your mother is still kind of going through this verbal wash of, like, okay, just be prepared for this, be prepared for that, and your father knows better than to try and interrupt. Is there anything that you would like to do at this moment?
I guess Piper would kind of just want to take everything in, just kind of looking around, just like a first impression, like first time here. Might as well like take everything in while you have time to, while their mother is on her tirade, right?
Is there anything specific that you're looking for?
At this current moment, I don't think so, because Piper would look for specific locations, but since they are kind of outside the thing right now, Piper would not be able, probably would not be able to see them.
Well, there is the Lux Forest that you're not necessarily from, but sort of adjacent to. And you definitely notice on the other side, not too many carriages or cars or even people coming out of this area. Is a very dark, almost sort of foreboding forest that it's almost Vanta black. Like, it's almost like it absorbs light around it and refuses to let you see what's in it. It is at this point that you are greeted by a very mature elven woman with various different sort of flowers and flora in her hair, and almost seems to be kind of growing around her. Notices the situation that you're in, and kind of looks to you with a look that almost says, would you like me to help you out of this sort of thing? Is there, does anybody kind of sort of respond to this look?
Sorry, I had grandparent come in. Oh, run again.
Delivery
Oh,
service.
thank you.
And pop-up said,
Oh.
when you're
I heard that mute go on fast. We're doing pretty good. We can wait. I also want to... I know that this is going to kind of make everything look weird for a second. I apologize.
Okay. I'm back.
Welcome back. This kind of sort of older elven woman is catching both of your gazes, and yeah, it's kind of giving you a look that almost says, like, hey, do you want me to stop this? Do you want me to kind of help you out here?
Sonata's gonna kind of like nod.
She sort of makes her way over to you guys and says, hello there. Must be new students to Defendus Academy. My name is Miss Everlock. I am a Seraph and Bard class teacher. I also tend to dabble in gardening and the musical arts.
Piper
Well,
lights up at hearing that. Hearing
was
the
gonna say,
musical
yeah.
arts part.
Piper and Sonata both kind of brighten up. Piper, I think does a lot more than Sonata, but they both perk up at the mention of musical art.
Mrs. Everlock gives a bit of a nod to the violin case and says, "I do believe I might be seeing you all quite soon. Very much looking forward to it. Do you have your seats for the opening ceremonies yet?"
I don't believe so.
I say, do we?
Like, you weren't aware that you could have seats prior? Like, you figured you'd just go in and sit wherever, right? So this kind of seems off to you. You don't remember having to reserve seats?
I didn't know we were supposed to get seats.
Oh, my apologies. Last minute rule change. I'd be happy to help you out.
Thank you, we'd appreciate it.
She ushers you through the front doors, allowing you, obviously, to have your goodbyes with your parents. And when you are out of earshot of your parents, she sort of, has her hands in her robes and looks over at the both of you and goes, "You don't need to reserve seats for the opening ceremonies. It just seemed like you guys could use it out."
Yes, thank you.
Of course. I know what it's like to both have an overbearing parent and be one as well. It's hard for a parent not to be, but, well, they learn eventually. Hopefully they learn in enough time. And you can see that she kind of has a bit of a forward stare. She's trying to keep her kind of like a regal disposition, while at the same time you can tell something's caught. Through the grand doors enters a massive, almost overbearing hall of decadent golden light. Several tables across, filled with students, some of which have what seem to be matching uniforms. Others who are, you assume, around your age, around starting in the academy, do not. You've heard tale of the houses of Defendus Academy and what they represent. It seems as if they tend to group together not by force, but sort of by nature of the fact that they all tend to hang out. But you can see some crossover happening. Is there anywhere in particular that you guys would like to sit? There's several, I can give you kind of groups of people that you would see. There's a group of what seem to be like very muscular, burly women of various different races, having like arm wrestling and just like various like crushing cans on their foreheads. One of them is bleeding. I don't know if like they probably haven't even noticed it yet. There are some early magic casters who are kind of trying to get the hang of certain spells, and one of them has turned their like drinking cup into like a mood ring, and seems to be the only spell they know currently. You can see two girls that are sitting side by side with each other. One is what you assume to be a daemon with the purple skin and the horns growing from their forehead, and leaning on her shoulder is a like almost ashen gray skin but like platinum white hair seraph that is just sort of taking everything in. Both of them seem to have the colors of House Kokoro, the Mind House. And these are students that have been here for a while, so they're just kind of people watching. There's a group of students who already have books open and are like reading based on the classes they want to take. And if there's anything else in specific that you're kind of looking for, we can kind of bounce around with that.
Pippa decides to take the lead and sees people with the books and looks over to Sonata and is like, those people might know what kind of things to do here. They seem to be already getting a head start with the books, and maybe you'll find some common ground with them if we want to head there.
Yeah, let's do that.
You decided to take a seat over with a bunch of kind of, once again, smaller creatures. You see sort of goblins, hobgoblins, fae, much like yourself, and one very large orcish man that like they seem to have done some sort of spell to allow even distribution of weight. Otherwise this bench would have sent these people flying a long time ago. And they're like, okay, so a map of the school was actually not that difficult to get a hold of. So here's the thing. The secret passages, they do change. I have not been able to find an accurate mapping of... And the goblin who is talking sort of cuts himself off halfway. Oh, hi there. Are you guys are new too?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And he sort of clambers and like stands on top of where you're supposed to be sitting on a bench, and reaches his hand to you. Hi, Toby Locksplitter.
Sonata. Sonata Pier.
Nice.
Pippa Peer.
Ooh. Same last name, picking up on this. Very good. I swear to God, I've heard that name before. But probably nothing. So, is there anything that we can sort of help you guys out with? Are you looking for sort of the study gang?
Yeah. I'm just kind of looking on how to get our foot in here. I really enjoy reading. and Piper thought I might enjoy hanging out with you guys.
Perfect. Reading is how you absorb most of the knowledge in this world. Obviously, there are certain people in this academy that like to, shall we say, show off more of their physical traits, but that's really not going to get them quite far in the adventuring world. You know, you're never going to be able to out-wrestle a dragon or, you know, punch a fire elemental in the face. But with quick wit, be able to defeat any enemy. What sort of classes were you guys thinking of taking?
Guess we have the list of classes. I'm also actively eating ice cream while we're doing things now, so
That's okay.
brain a little bit distracted.
You could be doing that as well. There's very much ice cream aplenty and various different cultural breakfasts, and some of them are quite sweet.
Sonata will ask one of them if they have. I had the classes in mind, but of course, with all of this going on, everything's escaping my mind. Just kind of asked for if they have like a thing of like what the classes are and stuff.
Oh, yes, of course. There is an itinerary here. You'd be looking for Seraph and Bard classes led by Mrs. Everlock. There's Guardian and Warrior classes headed by Sir Shirato. You've got Sorcerer and Wizard classes. You might see a couple of us there. Headed by Miss Bluespark. Ranger classes are often taught by Coach / Mr. Bainsfang. Professor Weber mostly does rogue classes, more stealthy types. Again, you might see yours truly there. And Miss Abra is rogue classes as well, typically beginners, and druid classes.
I mean, I'm interested in those bard classes that Miss Everlock was. You skipped over Montgomery, Matt, in your list.
I did. So you actually do see Mr. Montgomery on this list as like literature and calligraphy and stuff like that. You don't see him down for any specific adventuring classes.
Okay.
Like, you would look at him as like a bare bones teacher you might find in front of the thing.
Okay. Yeah, Sonata will kind of look at this list and remember their conversation earlier with Everlock. And go, I think I want to go to her classes. Those bard classes.
Oh, Mrs. Everlock, she's been here for quite some time. Her and her husband actually used to cheer. No idea. I assume that he just sort of retired. He did so without any sort of pomp and circumstance. So, is he just kind of quietly retired? And, yeah, she's been heading the gardening club, and she's been sort of doing various musical performances and kind of getting those things together. She'll also be with this one, Mr. Montgomery, for a bit. He leads the performance art club. So think your grandiose stage productions. and
Piper just
movies.
immediately. Piper, who's been quiet for most of this interaction, just immediately lights up. Just there's a performing arts club.
Oh, yes, they have quite a number of performances throughout the year. Some of them have gone on to be, quite well-known actors and actresses. Yes, you'd be looking for Mr. Montgomery on that one. He's the only Simia teacher here, so should be quite easy to suss out.
Not along as well. Piper kind of spoke up, like, as she was about to make a comment about the performance arts as well. And she'll nod at that information.
Well, if you're looking for anything specific, just let us know, and you're always welcome to sit at our table.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you would like to, any sort of information or anything that you would like to do in this scene before?
There's a map, right?
There's a what?
There's a map, right? They had the map.
They do have a map of the school, yes.
And we're talking about a map of the school and secret passages.
Yes.
Would I be able to look at a map to see? Because Piper would be interested in to see out of curiosity where an auditorium or stage room, you know what I mean, like a performance room would be.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact,
Sonata will kind of look over Piper's shoulder.
Shit. What is the one that's not instinct? So used to the D&D stats.
Knowledge or
knowledge?
presence?
Yeah, okay. So, Dawn, let's have you give us the first roll of the campaign. Can you give me a knowledge roll?
Hey, yo! First roll, make it a natural 20.
Okay,
Not
I am
possible.
trying to get my Okay, that's a 2 on hope, 11 on fear.
2 on hope, so a 13 with fear. So, to let you guys know how this system works, this is a D12 system, where 2 D12 are rolled. One of them is a hope die, and one of them is a fear die. So it is very possible to succeed, but your fear die is higher. If a hope die is bigger, they will get a hope point, which they can use for various abilities and things that are specific to them, as well as generalized abilities. Fear, on the other hand, I'm going to go ahead and, if you wouldn't mind, just sort of bank that.
Also, I immediately roll fear. I immediately roll with.
I love it, but you still didn't roll badly at all. You're looking at this, and you're able to kind of clock where the auditorium is. You're able to clock where these teachers' classes are, if you would want to speak to them directly. It's looking around at the secret passages. You're like, what's the quickest way to get to these places? And as your eyes kind of move towards a secret passage, it wipes itself off the map and reappears in another place, wipes itself off the map, and you can see that it's almost like TV static in these certain places. Like, whatever is drawing this map can't keep up to it, and it sort of dizzies you a little.
Interesting.
I didn't add my knowledge to that. It was still like it would have been a 14 if you added knowledge. If that was a knowledge roll.
No, it was very successful. You were able to find what you were looking for.
Yeah, I'm just adding that of I accidentally forgot to do that.
That's fair. Like I said, very new. And you can see kind of Toby catches your eyes and he sort of snaps his fingers in front of your eyes and he's like, sorry. but if you focus on the secret passageways, you're gonna get dizzy really fast.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you for snapping me out of that. I was just curious. I was looking for an auditorium for future reference. Performing is one of the main things I've always enjoyed, so I was curious where that was. Of course.
So the auditorium you would find sort of in between houses Kokoro and Tamashi. They like to say that if you combined the mind and the soul, you get the performance.
Thank you.
Of course.
Nado, thank them as well.
As you guys are sort of sitting down to enjoy your food, talk amongst each other and with each other about prospects of, what you could possibly be in for in this school, we sort of cut to an all but empty classroom, except for two people. One who appears to be sitting at a desk, and another, a simia in this world, a monkey person, at the front of the class, sort of being like, now I understand that it is quite, there's quite a curiosity about these dark and strange places. However, as friendly as I am with your mother, I must make sure that you are following all of the rules here, because, keep in mind that you are more than just a person walking the grounds. You are a student. You are under Principal Defendus, and he goes into a long and just boring as hell tirade that someone would be listening to. Of course, Professor Montgomery doesn't pay attention to much outside of the sound of his own voice, and has yet to realize that the scarecrow in the position of this desk has not moved since the beginning of his tirade. This is not where Alex is. This is where Alex should be. But where is Alex?
Definitely not there.
Absolutely.
No. Alex probably eventually crept out and sitting by a tree outside in the courtyard. Just like people watching as people go by.
It's a typical day when, all of the new students are rushing in. You see some that are eager and some that are absolutely terrified. You see attached to their waists and backs are various different very adorable forms of weaponry, daggers and swords and bows. May have been passed down to them by family, or what they think is going to be a weapon going into this, and all you can think of is the armory has so much better than what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Family
some people have sentimental ties to their weapons, and it sucks. You hate to see them get crushed. You were here pretty early and got to see some of the returning students get there first. Gloria Bone Crush is the first one that you've noticed get there with her little squad of mean girls. But imagine if the mean girls were all absolutely juicing.
Sure.
So just thick-necked, veined, grody individuals.
Barbies, if you will.
Absolutely, yes. Like, you know many things about this group. You know that this group gets in trouble quite often, and would get in trouble more often if people actually stood up to them. But for the most part, a lot of their bullying goes unrecognized.
Mm-hmm.
You also know the one prevailing rumor. Now, the mock sports team, the Defendus Dragon Turtles, they do not post who tried out and who failed to get in. They simply post who got in.
Mm-hmm.
And the prevailing rumor is that Gloria has tried out every year for this team and has failed to get in.
Wait.
You see Toby and his little kind of group of nerds usher in. Very clear after Gloria's troop has gone, so that it's not even worth her time to mess with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of, they're going to pick their little corner. That people just kind of don't notice that they're around. You can see the theater kids that are all sort of very finely dressed to make a very big flashy entrance in there. You know that there is a performance that is always done by the prior students. Kind of the second year students, it's sort of a tradition for them to put on a performance. So it's gonna be fine, but they're not late game students. They're still kind of learning their thing. Is there anything specifically that you're looking for?
I really want to kind of get a beat on all the parents that are kind of walking in and see who's associated with who. And since this is the first day, these are opening ceremonies. I've been here, done that. I'm just kind of curious to see who's got notable looking or seems like they're really pompous family members, and who looks like they're gonna think that they're better than everyone else.
Ooh. Go ahead and give me an instinct roll.
So rolling 2d12s.
2d12s.
And adding my instinct.
And adding your instinct. One of them is your hope and one of them is your fear.
Okay. So the higher one is my hope, and I got a 6 with my modifier.
With your modifier.
Yes.
So go ahead and take a hope point. I don't know where you bank that, but go ahead and just bank that. Everyone starts with 3, I believe?
It had 2 on my sheet.
2?
It has 2 on the character sheet,
okay.
yeah.
So everybody starts with 2 per session. So
Got it.
it is one of those things where it's use them or lose them, because you go back to 2 at the beginning of every session.
Sweet.
But with a 6, it's really difficult, right? Because there's a lot of crowding that's happening. And also, there's a lot of races that you're they live for a long time. So, your child looks like they're as old as you.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of sort of interesting parents here. Yeah, it's interesting. You're sort of blanking on any sort of interesting names. You're not hearing a lot of names. Because a lot of introductions don't happen out here. You do see Mrs. Everlock. You do see her take a particular interest in two fairies that you sort of see her kind of usher them away as they're being, chatted to by their mother. Just kind of in the kind way that she is wont to do. And
as I kind of see her, I just kind of want to see if I can blend into the background a little bit more as that kind of happens.
ooh, what is sneak in this?
What is sneak?
What is sneak?
That's a great
Finesse
question.
under hide.
Yeah, that would be it. Go ahead
Yeah.
and give me a finesse roll.
Really crappy, but that's fucked. Fear. Fear at a 14.
Fear of the 14. It occurs to you really quickly that this is what you don't like. You're absolutely invisible. No one is paying attention to you per se.
Yep.
You are in
Mhm.
the thick of the biggest crowd of the year, which is the opening ceremonies. You have avoided the opening ceremonies multiple times for this exact reason. But you realize there's no walking back out the door. So you might as well pick a place to go.
Ah, shit. So I'm just stuck here in the opening ceremonies, and I avoided it all this time.
Yeah. Just because of kind of how the traffic of crowds work, there's...
Yep.
Okay, so I'll basically say this. There is no way for you to turn around and go back out without being noticed.
Yeah, so I just kind of have to blend into the crowd right now, and the crowd is at the opening ceremonies, and I'm fucked.
Yes.
Perfect.
Absolutely fucked. Is there a specific group or teacher or student that you would like to pursue?
I am going to... I'm gonna kind of start heading up towards Toby and his nerd group, because I think I'm like, they'll be so scared they won't say a word.
Like, there's a couple of them that are that perceptive that they do kind of catch that you are there, and they say fucking. They're just like, if we, her vision is based on movement. If we don't say anything,
I just give him the most monotone.
Oh yeah, and it's just
I guess me and Dawn, I guess, are still there with them. So I don't imagine we'd have left.
No, so they actually would have. You would have caught a little bit of the conversation that was had, and the introductions that were made. And when Toby turns around, he says he kind of recognizes the last name Pierre. There's a little bit of you that recognizes that last name too, but it's foggy. It's like, I've definitely heard the name. It was important enough that it made, rounds socially. But, I don't know. Fucking, it's something. At this point, B and Dawn, would you like to make... I guess perception would be instinct, right? Would you want to make instinct checks to see if you can clock this new person?
Oh,
Well,
I
that
can just
happens.
roll on the
I guess
site. Okay. I can do a fancy thing where I roll on the site.
okay, that landed wrong. Apologies.
I got a hope with a 10 was my highest.
Okay. You are not able to clock Alex, but you do take a hope point.
13 with fear.
Dawn.
13 with fear.
Again.
And that's with your bonuses?
Yep, that's what my bonus is. It turns out Ren's dice like me too much. Ren is the name of the character I bought my fear dice for.
So,
Are we?
Alexa, welcome back. So Dawn had rolled a 13 with fear. Now here's the thing. Normally, a 13 is not bigger than a 14. And it should not be enough to see you. But I feel like with fear,
Yeah.
you absolutely do clock this new person as if they stepped out of shadow themselves. And you immediately have flashes of your mother talking about the Tenebrae Forest and the dark creatures that lie within there. Almost like your own personal sleep paralysis demon just showed up. They don't seem to be moving. They do acknowledge you, but they don't seem to be kind of moving. They're like wallflowering right now.
Just kind of glare at you for an extra second longer than I should.
Does Piper have any sort
It's
of reaction to this?
Piper is kind of used to social, even though just like, yeah, shock. For a second, is kind of shocked at that moment, right? Especially with like the appearance and kind of like interaction, the glare, but then just puts on a smile. Doesn't talk because the person doesn't really seem to want to talk, but smiles in a kind of like nice, almost approaching way, as in like, I'm not a threat to you in a way, kind of way. It is like a friendly smile, but not in a way of you need to talk to me kind of situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, passing but
No.
friendly.
Friendly,
You know what I mean,
frightened acknowledgement. Submissive, friendly acknowledgement.
Like, friendly very much, because Piper wants to be friends with everyone. But Piper will smile at you at least nicely, right? Even if you did just scare him a bit.
This character barely moves. Like, you would think that this person is just a statue for a second, as they just stare at you, watching you smile, and just there. And then eventually, finally break the gaze. And, like, you notice there's, when they move, it's very, like, barely anything there. And that's almost what kind of keeps them so invisible. It's just the very small, slow movements.
There's a sort of unspoken conversation being had between Alex and Piper that is just sort of like Alex being like, I am here, I'm not moving from here, but just like don't perceive me, and Piper being like, I can't not perceive you after I've perceived you, but also just like, I.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
There is one thing that is able to sort of break your immovability, Alex, and that is one of your audio sensors going off. In sort of an earpiece that you have, because you can hear the exasperated and pissed off voice of Professor Montgomery go, oh, for fuck's sake! And you hear a sharp static in your ear as you sort of like instinctually throw this thing to the ground. And you realize that you're covered in blood.
You, Piper, what you see is this sly smile creep onto this character's face, instant pain in the ear, and throwing something on the ground. Smashing it with their foot.
Piper understanding that like this person doesn't really want to be seen as kind of like the interaction they had, kind of just does a small gesture to kind of gesture like, are you okay, without saying anything, without like notifying anyone else. You know what I mean? Like a very small gesture to be like, are you okay? But without like making any noise or anything, to make sure that like they can still keep their like cover of not being seen as much.
They look back at you.
Piper does like the subtlest nod, like you can barely see it only if you're directly looking at Piper, and that's it.
It is at this point that you remember, Alex, that these are the fairies that were talking to Mrs. Everlock.
Mm-hmm.
And that Everlock had taken like a bit of a shine to them. And there are several kind of emotions that go through your head at that. And then the most logical of which goes, oh, so she's going to be checking in on them. And I'm in close proximity. You worry for a split second before
Yep.
have slights go down.
Ah, perfect. Insta, like, there's like a moment, and then, okay, just kidding. Darkness, good. Darkness, good. That's what's going through her head.
And various different sort of performances from various clubs start going off. Eventually, leading with Sir Ken Shirudo, the Professor Shirudo, the mock sports sort of officiator within the school. Though he's not the coach, he sort of handles, or they sort of handle all of the paperwork that deals with them. And, I mean, you also are fully aware of why Coach Bainsfang probably can't be part of the opening ceremonies. It's not really a place meant for him. They're working on it, though. They are working on it. They get up to the podium, and they say, students, tryouts for the Magic and Weaponry Combat Sports team, the Defendus Dragon Turtles, will begin as of next week. I hope to see a lot of new combatants join up. We look for people across all walks of life. And of course, did not come here without a show. And so, I would like to bring to the stage the captain of the Defendus Dragon Turtles. Calathea, you would join me, please. And who / what do they see approaching the stage?
Oh, interesting. Okay. I do suppose it's more like they stand about a little larger than what most people would probably assume a fairy to be. Like almost normal human size, almost type deal with digigrade legs in a kind of, oh, what's the best way to describe it? Almost like a light aqua skin tone. Large-ish, kind of like rhinoceros beetle horns sticking out of their forehead. Wearing a bright orange, almost like cropped jacket, leather jacket that says Lullaby right across the back. And like this fancy pink, orange, purple, kind of like faded hair that's only cut off, half cut? Like the left side of their head is like bald, while the entire other side is like a short bob. As she kind of trots up onto stage.
It's at this point kind of Toby leans towards you, Sonata. Goes, all right, there's the lullaby. She could choke anyone out within moments of combat.
Sonata just kind of nods. The like, thank you for telling me this. I suppose good to keep in mind, but not sure what to do with the information.
It's
Kind of, just kind of nods to show I've heard you.
it's a big reminder of what your mom was saying earlier of people like being really good at this.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, really good at the fighting thing.
Yes. And it's interesting to see one of your kind up there. Right? You're expecting Goliaths and orcs and, these sort of like rough and tumble races, and then to see a fairy come out as the captain, and you're like, this is interesting. And you have a nickname, you have a reputation. I mean, Sir Shirudo, they look over the crowd and say, for those of you who are unaware of how mock sports works, and they pull out a red card about the size of a playing card. And they're like, each and every one of you will get these. It will record the amount of gold credits that each of you have, and you can spend within the school. For those of you who consider yourselves to be quite adept in combat, this is a way for you to make money. The notice board at the front of the school will also have various jobs and adventures for you to go on in order to earn gold and reputation. Well, reputation of an adventurer is quite apt. And there is a moment where they sort of look over at Gloria. Calathea, you have realized that Gloria has not taken her fucking eyes off of you in a death glare.
As this is all happening, I'm gonna put my little headphones in. Just scroll on a thing and click on.
Oh yeah, so he's just like, the integrity of mock sports as a... It just immediately becomes drowned out by your music. Present these cards during a sanctioned, and only sanctioned, mock sports event, and it will take you to another world. It is at this point that they bring another one of your teammates over and have you two sort of engage in a sparring match. I'll have you give me a strength or presence roll, your choice.
Oh, okay. Okay. That'll be a hopeful 14.
Hope 14, under which trait?
Strength.
Strength. Go ahead and take your hope points. And it is very... There's a part of this that is sort of, I guess you would say, staged. In that you've been told by the coach several hours prior to, let the fight go on for a little bit. But this person is absolutely no match for you, and it is very quickly over with sort of a rear naked chokehold. As everybody is able to look on in this dimension and spectate your fight. with sort of like a clean, like MMA style tap out, you return back to the stage and take your bows. Do you look over to Gloria, or do you actively avoid looking?
Gloria, that's the roided out mean girl?
Yes.
Yeah, no. Don't even give her the time of day.
It is, she probably has some sort of reaction. You couldn't give a damn. And you just kind of do your bows, your bow towards Sir Shirudo, and make your way down to join your house. It is a lovely dinner. Alex, you're kind of looking for any sort of opportunity to slip out, and people are getting up and walking around, and you're all like, shit. But it also looks like Everlock is quite busy, at least up until you see at the front of the hall the familiar, disgruntled face of Professor Montgomery come in, sort of tap Everlock on the shoulder, whisper something into her ear. You see an exasperated sigh. And, I'll go ahead and wait for some personal things to be done. It's okay. You're all good.
Mom's just showing me new dresses. That's
Hell
all.
yeah. We love that.
Okay, sorry. What's up?
No, you're good. You see that they kind of sort of start to split up, and they are looking for somebody. I don't know who, but
Perfect.
you realize that your cover's more than blown at this point.
Here's the thing. The good thing is, this is kind of the last place they would be here.
Yeah?
So, I think I'm just gonna keep staying with the crowd right now, and just keep trying to blend in that way. Because if I leave, they're gonna be looking for me outside of this room. They don't think I'm here.
This is the duality, mind the pun, of God, I hate being here, but God, I'd hate being caught even more.
Yep.
Then, Sonata and Piper. You are sort of conversing with Toby and his crew, and they're sort of telling you how, like, bringing out, like, the full map and showing you, like, just how they mapped it and taking a lot of pride in what they did, when a very large amount of goopy, what seems like maybe like a mix of gravy and various sauces, pour onto the back of Toby's head and drip down onto the map, just absolutely ruining a section of it. And it goes, "We've already got a library. We don't need one." And Gloria just kind of sitting with her, like, two lackeys on either shoulder, looks down at Toby, and he is very visibly angry but is not moving.
Sonata's
Did I?
just gonna kind of look. Her instinctive reaction is to try and clean up the mess on the table. She's not gonna interact with Gloria. Just kind of focus on the mess on the table. She's like almost actively avoiding looking at Gloria. Her focus is there's mess on paper and there's books around. Like she's cleaning up the table, cleaning up the gravy that's been spilled and stuff. Kind of trying to make a point to not interact.
Zach, did you also have something that you wanted to ask?
I was going to ask if I may have perceived that happen, or saw that happening.
I'm not even going to make you roll for it. Like, she is making her presence.
Oh, well then Calthea will definitely start walking towards her.
You walk over, and as you do, you just kind of hear her, like, actively chuckle. She's like, oh, love it. This school could use a maid service. You seem to be quite good at it. Let's see if we can add more to your resume. And just starts to like pour some sort of dark brown carbonated drink on the rest of the map.
I would like to try to intercept that, if possible.
Sorry.
Sure, how would you like to intercept?
If I can get there quick enough, maybe sprout my wings and kind of fly over and grab her arm. Or
Give me an agility check. See how quickly you can get over there.
Okay. That's holy crap. Okay, that's another 12 on the hope. That's a 13.
So that's 13 with hope?
Yeah.
You are able, there's kind of like a kick-off where you are able to sort of glide, and at this point there's a lot of people looking at this. There's a lot of people aware of the situation that was happening, because again, she's loud and large and in charge. But with the big wing spread and the grab of her wrist, there's a little bit of spillage that happens, but you are able to sort of stop it before it becomes a large puddle.
So Nada's gonna, if she's managed to clean up, much of the mess as she could, and she's gonna start trying to fold the map. Like, I imagine, following the folds or whatever, just to get it packed away so it doesn't get ruined any further.
And she kind of looks back. Can I help you, Captain?
I gotta look at the situation and state. I do suppose a maid's service would be in order. And I do think I found our lead maid, as I kind of twist her arm backwards.
Go ahead and give me a strength check. It is going to be opposed by hers.
Alright.
She has a +2 in this. You're looking to... Ooh. Roll pretty good, actually. You're looking to beat an 18.
Was a fear? Wait, no. What am I rolling? D12 or D20?
You're rolling 2d12.
Yeah.
And you're adding your strength.
But then how does she get an 18 if she rolled... Oh wait, no, it's a D20. Never mind. I'm thinking different.
Because
That's a fearful 12.
Oh,
12.
wait, hold on. How do we know to roll a d20 or d... What?
Players roll a d12. Adversaries roll d20s.
What the fuck?
Can I use an experience on that, though? Is this how that works?
If your experience applies here, yeah, for sure.
Basically, the experience that I put down is never again, which is basically, from what I told you about the backstory, she really does not like bullies or anyone that tries to pick on the weaker.
I would
And this is-
100% say that applies here.
Unfortunately, I only kicks it to a 15 with experience
Takes
opponents.
it to a 15, which is not nearly as bad. But she looks like she was coming over here and she expected somebody to try and mess with her. So she kind of has herself in a defensive stance. It's enough to move her, but she just kind of stands her ground. She goes, "Far be it from me to add to someone's resume, but I think what I'm gonna do to get out of the dragon tunnels, I'll just take your fucking spot."
Could certainly try.
She just kind of looks down at Sonata, who's quickly kind of mopping up what she can. And she just kind of goes, "Why is it that all fucking pixies seem to flock together?"
Sonata kind of makes it like to say, unless there was more she was gonna say.
No, but I was just going to kind of keep in mind that she might as well have at that point called you a slur. Because pixies and fairies are very different.
Okay.
This is the equivalent in D&D of calling a devil a demon.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sonata's gonna still, like, as she's, like, the opposite of a fighter. Like, Piper, where Piper will fight if they need to, Sonata, like, just, like, she's, not, she's not one for this situation. She's, like, yes, that happened. She's just, very, like, her face is visibly hurt by it, but she still doesn't interact. She's not, like, actively ignoring. It's not like she's, actively trying to remain impassive and ignoring. She's clearly hurt. Like, her face is visibly hurt by this. But she doesn't further the interaction. She just keeps doing what she's doing. And just kind of in her head, repeating over and over, she'll be, like, it'll be done soon, it'll be over soon. You've dealt with this before, you can deal with it now. It's very clear, this interaction, this is not her first time dealing with bullies. She's keeping herself quiet and small, which yes makes her a big target, but she kind of knows what to do, at least somewhat.
Dawn, you had something that you wanted to say?
Dear Sonata, next to Sonata, actually, you hear a bit of laughter. Someone laughing at Gloria instead of with her. Piper decides to look up to Gloria and is like, "So, you're too scared to pick on someone your own size? So you pick on someone smaller than you? That sounds like the actions of a coward."
Oh,
Let's say you get a small crack of smile from Calthea with that one.
you...
Here's the thing. Out of character, Piper will not fight unless you touch Sonata. You go near Sonata and Piper's mad at you.
Give me a presence roll with advantage.
Let's say, but
What
Piper is the
advantage
protect.
work with?
Yeah,
If
so
you
advantage
added
and disadvantage
D6.
works differently in Daggerheart, where you're just going to add a flat D6, doesn't count towards hope or fear, but it counts towards the end result.
Okay, I'll roll the d6 separate because I'm going to roll each one at a time because my dice keep getting stuck in my towel when I roll multiple.
Okay, sounds good.
So it's 2d12
Okay,
plus a
3.
d6.
Yes.
So
Okay.
d12, d12, d6.
Yes.
Cool.
That one landed crooked. Okay, that's an 11 with hope. I dropped my d6. That's 14 with hope.
14 with hopes. Go ahead and take your hope point. You can
That's
see
including my modifier.
the absolute veins in her neck. And this room goes full fucking silent. And her friends are like, hey, it's not really, you know. And she just takes a full hand and just puts it over one of their faces. What did you just say to me?
Well, you just said worse to my sister, so I wouldn't dare, because you're not picking a fight with one person. I'm not someone who fights often, but you touch my sister, say one wrong word about her, and I will make your life a living hell.
No, you're right. Just fighting. Fighting two halves. Then she gets very uncomfortably kind of close to your face. He goes, "Would love to see what put on show for me."
Well, shows are kind of my thing. So maybe you'll come and see one sometime.
You can see that she is like rearing back to clock you one. But she is slow, so you have a chance to do something before that happens.
May I actually come in there and just block the punch? Like,
Sure. What would you like to block it with?
I just want to try to, like, I want to see it coming and jump in there and do this, like, grab, but not as, like, a strength thing, as more like a block, if that makes sense.
So it's kind of like using your armor a bit. Here's what I'll say. I will let you intercept the attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
I see what you mean. I see. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So my question is, does a 17 hit your evasiveness?
Yes. Oh, wait, but I have a thing about that.
Ooh, what's the thing?
Add half of your agility score to your evasion, rounded up. Although that
If that's
literally
on
doesn't help.
demiplane, then that should be automatically calculated.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah,
that's
most likely.
cool, but it still hits it. But that's fine. I thought there was another thing.
I think I will utilize the ability.
You have an ability?
As a
Okay.
guardian ability, I am your shield.
Ooh.
I'll take a stress point and I'll take the damage.
Okay.
Reducing the damage by my strength trait as well.
So you take the damage and it's reduced by your strength trait.
Yes.
What is your strength trait?
2.
Okay. So that brings the damage down to 4.
Oh, that doesn't even pass my minor.
So this is a bunch of people kind of jumping in front.
Yeah, we are all like jumping into this. We said, "Oh, punches thrown." Oh, hold up.
This is Piper jumping in front of Sonata, who then has Alex jumping in front of Piper, who then has Calithea jumping in front of Alex.
Right. So much happening.
I don't like bullies.
Everyone's just
Alex
jumped in to
looks-
protect the little
Alex-
pixie. Well, not pixie, little fairy.
Uh,
Piper shares that sentiment, by the way, about not liking bullies.
there
Especially if
is...
those bullies are picking on Sonata.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Alex
it's a
looks
don't fuck with
very
my sister scenario.
out of place.
This is, by the way,
scenario.
the first time that you see Alex, like, move.
Right.
Sonata,
quickly,
you have
too.
not seen this person. You have no idea where the fuck
Yeah.
they came from.
Person just came out of nowhere. Um,
To kind of jump
I'm-
in front of your sister.
yeah, the punch is coming at Piper. This, I don't know how to. This shadow elf going from the heritage I saw. Shadowy elf, jumps in to take the punch, and then this like massive fairy comes in to block that. Sonata's basically just staring because this is they're she's the only person who's ever stood up for her is her sibling. She's just kind of like she's looking at the two of you, Alex and Calithea, just kind of like looking at the two of you, like what the heck are you two doing? Like she's like staring at you like wide-eyed.
As Alex like steps in front, first of all, this is a very like just I am here now. Thank you.
You kind of like borderline materialize in front of Piper, and you see that Gloria is kind of taken aback a little bit, but kind of comes back up, and that little hesitation is what lets Calithea spin her on an axis so that the punch goes full round and hits straight solar plexus, and you're like, holy shit, because...
Into me?
No, solar plexus to Calithea.
Okay.
So, like, it fully, this punch hits her center mass, and you're like, holy fuck, until you notice Calithea didn't move. And...
There are just two creatures right now that are just, like, standing there, unfazed.
And, yeah, there's just, like, you have emotionally unfazed and physically unfazed.
Yep. Yeah.
Where this, you know, fairy, which, yes, is big for fairy, but is still fairy, took this, like, busted orc woman's punch and didn't move an inch. Calithea, you are now kind of, like, face to face with her. She's, like, wide-eyed. What are you?
Just stare back at her and say, you know, I do suggest that you take a walk with you and your little minions and cool your head.
What are you? And you can see that her rage is getting bigger and bigger at this point.
You cool your head, or you're taking a nap.
Would you like to make a strength roll against her?
Probably not gonna work, but sure, let's try.
Yeah, go for it. I'll say this, she does not have a very high evasiveness.
There. Now, what can these hopes be used for again? Alright, let's see. Stuff. Probably not gonna be useful for this stuff.
This is also a situation, I think, like, because considering you're kind of in the same motivation, that not again would apply.
Oh, never again? Okay, yeah. I think I'll use another one of my abilities here from the fairy ancestry. The Luck Bender. Once per session, after you're an ally or you or ally in close range make an action roll, I will spend 3 hope to reroll the duality die.
Okay.
I'll spend 3 hope and reroll the duality and take a result from the later result. Okay. Well, 14 for hope.
14 for hope. So you get your hope point back. And I believe that was the exact same roll that you got when you were doing your performance. And it is the same thing that you just put her in this chokehold, and it is taking longer, for you to fucking squeeze this giant neck. And eventually, you hear a very loud, "Enough!" The familiar face of Professor Lutatius Montgomery makes his way over to the table. I will not have my students behaving like ingrates on the first day. What example are we setting for our new students? I unfortunately have no choice but to give you all detention on the first day. Fear not, Miss Bone Smasher, whatever you are. You will take yours separately. You and your lackeys. As they try and proclaim that they did nothing wrong, they didn't hit anybody. He's like, I don't want to hear it. I'm not a fool. I know what it is like when a group tries to intimidate another. However, this is not how it is solved. And he sort of looks over at Alex.
Yeah, I'm gonna be just, as he looks over, he just sees subtly sneaking
Stop
away.
where you are! Your mother will be informed of this as well. Perhaps you can take your punishment with her and explain why you were not at your lessons today. Now, I will expect you all at my office by night's beginning. Till then, I can assume that you all can behave civilly. And, have you let up on the chokehold yet, or is she still passing it?
I think I would have let go. Maybe a couple seconds after he told us to stop.
Yeah.
But
you just kind of drop her. Jeez. She gets up and she eyes each and every one of you with the same sort of death glare she was already looking at Calathea with.
I'm gonna
Because,
smirk at her.
Mr. Montgomery looks over at her and her larger friends. He goes, well, I do believe that the stamina of each and every one of you would be good picking flowers for our gardening club's beginning display. Crush a single one, and you will start from the beginning. You hear a bunch of like grumbles as he sort of takes the group away, and there is a moment to yourselves as the situation kind of simmers down.
If I've managed to get the map cleaned up and folded, I'm going to hand it back to Toby. Just kind of hand the map back to Toby.
He kind of takes the map. Thanks, all of you. This is pretty typical for Gloria. I mean, kind of points over Calathea and is like, you know.
Alex is walking away.
And they, such an amazing conversationalist, that one. But, I mean, I don't know, grateful. Thanks.
No acknowledgement.
Done.
Just already gone.
Piper looks at Calathea and is just like, thank you. Whenever I get a chance, if I have the chance, I can make you some of my signature cupcakes as a thanks.
I say, so Piper lightening the mood, Piper's comment about the cupcakes makes Sonata smile. Like, this is Piper's general thing. Piper goes, oh, I can make you cupcakes. Sonata's just gonna smile because it's funny. It's just basic. In this situation, it's just funny, but he's quite quietly smiling, and
Okay, Piper's the sweetest thing. Until you mess with Sonata or any of Piper's friends.
I'd say that
Then
kind
Piper will slap you.
of like almost bony like ridges that form her eyebrows instead of like normal hair eyebrows, so like almost like bony little protrusions sticking out of her forehead. Kind of raises for a second, and then she goes, "Well, that does sound quite delicious, and terribly sorry about getting you into trouble like that. Detention on the first day of class is always not the best.
It's okay, even before you got involved. Yeah, it's okay, even before you got involved, I would have. As soon as he started on Sonata. If you can't tell, me and Sonata are twins. She's more quiet than me, so of course, if anyone starts on her, I'm the one who will step in.
The bonds of siblings.
the bonds of the protective older twin.
We actually never discussed which twin was older.
I don't know which. I don't. We haven't discussed this, but it's whether or not you are older or younger, you are the protective older twin, even if you're younger.
Piper has older twin energy for sure. You see, Toby kind of stands on top of the table once again to kind of meet your gaze, Calathea. He goes, don't think we've ever met formally. Very impressive skills up there. Toby Locksplitter.
I guess I reach out with my hand to shake his, and he goes, Calathea Swiftbead.
This, I believe they've mentioned their names, but this Sonata and Piper something or other.
Here.
Zach, go ahead and give me a knowledge roll.
Knowledge.
Also, when we get a chance, can we take 5 real quick so I can get some food?
Yeah, for sure.
It's fine.
This is not going to be going on for too much longer.
Fearful 5.
Fearful 5. This name rings a bell. You know of someone within your very team Give me a second. This is going to like crap. Apologies. I don't know how to properly stream. Okay. I had to remember a name. You know of someone by the name of Reef Pier, another
Reed.
fairy that is within your mock sports team.
This was Reed with a D.
Reed?
Yeah.
Reed. My apologies.
Why did I think it was two?
The reason that you remember him is because he is as far as you know, a temporal anomaly in terms of this man has what could be hundreds of years of combat experience. He is not hundreds of years old.
Fascinating.
I
I look at the twins and I just go, Reed. I perchance related to a Reed.
You know
Piper
Reed?
just kind of. Piper's kind of shocked, like, wait, you know Reed?
He's on the team that I'm captain of, yes.
He.
We haven't seen him for a while. He's our brother.
Well, I do see that. The resemblance is definitely there. It's good to meet you.
My question for you, Alexa, is would you, because this is about to start wrapping up, would you rather have me wrap up and then you could go get food, or are you like fading fast?
No, it's okay. You're fine.
Okay.
Go for it. In other words, if we take a break now, I could go for another hour. If we don't, I have to go get food real quick.
That's fair. No, I did not have this going for another hour. Unless there is something that the rest of you wanted to do during the opening ceremonies, you obviously get the speech from Principal Defendus himself. What it means to be a virtuous warrior, a champion, a hero, the strength of the party, the strength of the adventurer, that sort of thing. Two of you have heard this before. Two of you have never heard of it, but have heard of the great tales of his speeches. Alex, where did you go off to? Now that people know you're here and you basically have carte blanche to leave.
Yep. I'd probably go fuck off to the forest.
You are sort of intercepted on your way there.
Oh shit.
By Miss Everlock.
Yep. Figured.
And she sort of looks at you with this kind of downtrodden look. You will have your chance to go first. There are ingredients that I need, and you and your little newfound troop will be gathering those ingredients. Normally, to escort you. I know that you do. And I know that you know this forest probably better than I do. Just ask that you wait. That just take this punishment. Then just go about your schooling. Do what it is that you...
I'm gonna turn around. And I'll head to the dormitories instead.
You head to the dorms. The dorms of House Shinzo, for the most part, are very colorful, expressive. It is what is within the heart. And what is within the heart is love and anger and curiosity. And then there's your area. Blank. Just sort of untouched for the most part. Except for small things. Things you consider significant, but other people wouldn't notice from a passing glance.
Mhm.
And you sort of wait your time out there before meeting up with the rest of detention at Professor Montgomery's office. And Mr. Montgomery, he actually approaches you, Alex.
Before he does, I'm gonna text you something real quick, a question.
Ooh, sure. I love questions. I'm also seeing B's message. Oh, love that. You're not gonna like my answer.
It's up to you.
Yeah,
You want me to?
if you want to, you totally can.
Okay, I'll just keep this up. That's fine.
Professor Montgomery.
Probably gonna be more selective. It's fine.
Yeah, Professor
It'll be
Montgomery
okay.
approaches you specifically. He does not make eye contact with you. And again, it's more that sort of disappointed reluctance look.
Mhm.
I take it that your mother told you what your duties would be? Very well. This is the list of ingredients that need to be brought back. You will head into the Tenebrae Forest. You will only gather these ingredients, and then you will make your way back to the school. The rest of you do not know this forest. Do not anger the creatures there. They are docile for the most part. But if they feel threatened, they will attack, and you will... Am I understood?
Mm-hmm.
I don't respond.
Very well. Take your weaponry with you, just in case. But If you do find yourselves in the midst of combat, run. Off with you. And it is a bit of a walk between the castle grounds and the Tenebrae Forest, if there's anything that you wish to discuss or do.
Piper just quickly looked at Alex. He's just like, I didn't get to offer this earlier, but at some point, as a thank you for helping us, you'll get some I'll give you some cupcakes if you want. I'll bake cupcakes for people.
Alex just looks you up and down, like gives you like a once over. Just stares at you.
You kind of get the feeling that... what kind of feeling is Alex trying to give off?
You get the vibe that...
You get the vibe that this person is all vibes.
It's all vibes. So you get this feeling that upon looking at Alex, you look them, they look you up and down. You also kind of look them up and down. They don't look like someone that would like eat cupcakes, let alone look at one.
And Piper's just like, I just thought I'd offer. It's okay if not.
And then they kind of just give you a look of, I mean, it's still a cupcake.
I love how this person is just like, fuck you. But this fairy is so nice. It's like, well, it's just an offer. You're like, wait, fuck, I'm an asshole now. Damn it.
No, more like, yeah. Like, well, I mean, I won't say no to a cupcake. That's the vibe that you get.
Anybody else have anything that they kind of want to do?
I'll say, Sonata will kind of quietly, say to Piper, making friends already, I see. Like, so it's like, quietly, she's still maybe a bit shaken from what happened in the ceremony and, all of this.
Yeah.
But it's clear that she's in, like, a better state than she might have been immediately, where she was kind of... Right as it was happening, she was kind of petrified, and she was only spoke when she was directly addressed by a teacher. Aside from that, she just kind of did her little thing, focused on the map, and then now she's a little bit more relaxed. She's smiling at Piper with the cupcakes. It's clear she's in a she's doing a bit better than before.
As you pull out the map,
no, I gave the map to Toby, who had made it. It was saying back during the ceremony scene with the whole map thing, and before we left, I gave when we had the moment, gave it to Toby because it was his map.
Sweet. Never mind.
Calathea. We're gonna go back in time.
Woo!
About 2 years ago. You're in the office of Principal Defendus himself.
I didn't do it.
He sits in his chair, not in his full plate armor that he's usually in, but instead kind of like a business suit that matches the silver and blue aesthetic that he typically dons. His very long hair kind of pulled up into, like, a professional enough bun. And he just kind of chuckles and he goes, "No, I do believe you did. That, looks good on you." Points towards the medal that is around your neck for your performance, your team's performance at the Interschool Mock Sports Championship League. Because your combat expertise, your grades, your standing within the school, they're all incredible things that any student should strive for. Why do you not have an adventuring party?
Good question. I do suppose it's mostly that. Can't stand seeing other people get hurt.
And you think your best way to do that is what? For you on your own to defend the entire rest of the world?
No. I just need to get better. I know there's more to.
Sorry?
I know there's more that I can do.
Striving for better is always good. Striving for perfection lead one into madness. Plus, I suppose, perhaps you don't need to find an adventuring partner. Perhaps one will find you. Isn't that how it always works? You meet a bunch of variously dressed and temperamental youths in a tavern one day, and all of you just so happen to end up on the wrong side of trouble together. And it's just that one spark abnormality causes you all to say, well, it's together. We flash forward, and you look around at this group. You are about to go into the darkest forest anyone has ever seen, with a group of people that can only be described as a motley crew.
I
And
know
you look-
Alex is very hot.
You look back at the castle behind you, and with sort of your keen sight, you see Principal Defendus standing in his office, arms crossed, looking down straight at you, just sort of nods. There's a part of you in the back of your brain that goes, ah, fuck.
And then I got a kind of maybe nervous, but also kind of slightly maniacal laugh, just under my breath, just like a small little nervous giggle, and just like, fuck.
As you realize that you're just like, it's detention, right? It's just normal detention. Get the ingredients and get out. No abnormalities. Nothing. And I'm going to get all four of you, actually, to roll me an instinct check as you forage for these ingredients. Alex, you are used to the Tenebrae Forest, so I will give you advantage on this one. I will call on each of you in turn.
Ah, shit, nuggets.
Hell yeah. I will call on each of you in turn. Let's go reverse order that I have you on screen. So, Calathea.
Althea, that's a hopeful 9.
Hopeful 9. Piper.
Fearful 18.
Fearful 18. Sonata.
You said this was what, instinct?
Yes.
Okay. Hopeful 6.
Hopeful 6. And Alex.
Okay. Fearful 16.
Fearful.
Wait, I might be
but I
doing these wrong. Hang on. It's
I
the full.
also-
It's the full number. Is it the full number?
It is the full number.
Okay, I've been doing these wrong. It's a hopeful 10.
Hopeful 10. Okay.
Wait,
Okay,
wait. You add the two numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a 6 and a 4. I was only
Dude,
reading the
I've been
one.
doing
back.
that all wrong. So have I. Then.
Wait a
Okay.
minute.
Yes.
Hold on.
We're all
You add
doing
both
it.
numbers and then you just tell me which one was bigger.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I've only been taking the one die, not the two.
Okay,
but-
we've all
I
been doing it wrong.
Alright, everybody's been rolling badly,
Right,
but it made sense in the
Wait, am I the
story.
only one who's been doing this right?
And you
Somehow,
were the
yes,
one that
I
joined up
guess.
last. How did that work?
Okay, that's a lot higher than. So I'm rolling. I'm adding all the numbers
Yes.
Yes.
That
and
would've
my
been a lot-
modifier.
And your
those would've-
modifier.
All would have been a lot higher. Those
Amazing.
all would've
Okay.
been a lot higher.
And then
That's
on
a
top
different
of that,
number.
you
Hang
can
on.
add experiences if you think they apply and you have a hope point to do so.
But let's re-add that, and that would be more of a hopeful 16.
Hopeful
Okay,
16.
Man, then all those other
Piper,
comments.
what did you say yours was?
Fearful 18.
Fearful 18.
So
Man,
okay.
look what I put
okay.
on DMs.
Yes. Sonata.
That was a hopeful 10.
Hopeful 10.
This math makes a lot more sense now.
It has.
Also-
okay.
And then Alex.
If I'm doing this correctly, a fearful 22.
Yeah,
as long
that'll
as
do it.
will you also let me use experience points for this?
What
or
is
just
your
the
experience?
Well, okay, wait. Actually, it's not even experience. There's something called path forward, which is where you can like identify the shortest, most direct path to your destination.
Oh, absolutely. I would say that lowers the DC then.
Beautiful.
Which you
Look at that.
cleared mightily with a 22 regardless.
Oh,
But we've
okay.
got Sonata and Calathea with hope, and Piper and
I'm
Alex
gonna-
with fear.
So much addition.
So,
Makes so much percent now that you add both dice.
I know, right? Thank you. I was like, because she was rolling like 18s and shit, or 22s, and I was like, she was rolling 18s, and I'm like, how am I ever supposed to get to that if I'm only rolling 12?
That's what I was trying to figure out,
that's
too.
the cool thing about the 2d12 system is it's actually so much better than a d20, because with a d20 you get a minimum of 1
Right.
and a maximum of 20. With 2d12s
Right.
you get a minimum of 2 and a max of 24
Max.
Or mods, yeah.
before mods.
Kind of almost reminds me of the
This
time
makes
when
a
the
lot more
player
sense.
spent 3 sessions, you're rolling a d12 instead of a d20.
God damn it. I'm not going to name drop him, but you know who you are. So, I'm going to go with
that's about-
Sonata and Calathea first. You two sort of like find each other. That Sonata, you think it's Piper for a second before you realize that Piper doesn't have these biceps. And you realize that like you're still safe, but you're like, oh, my sister's really, my sibling's probably fine. And you are able to, via mostly feel, like this is all pretty much dim light. And do fairies get dark vision in this?
No,
Don't
no.
even know if
I
that's a thing. I don't remember reading
I
that.
don't even, yeah.
I
haven't
don't remember
seen
reading that either.
Okay, because they don't get it in freaking
don't think
D&D
it's a
either,
thing.
which is weird.
That is weird.
They're literally beings made out of sparkle dust and fucking hope. Like,
I just don't think I've seen anything. There's probably like an addition, like you get an additional hope if you're a dark something, but I haven't seen anything that's like.
You are able to kind of gather the ingredients that you need and sort of keep track of where Alex and Piper are. You have kind of like committed to memory their silhouettes. Sonata is very easy for you because you've been around Piper all of your life.
It's basically you. You look in the mirror, that's it.
Calathea, it's more like your ability to study another person's body, like in combat, that you don't really know Alex's shape so much as their movement. And so you can kind of look over and be like, oh, incredibly blocky but very quick movement is probably Alex. Alex and Piper. You two manage to gather the rest of the ingredients that you need before something pushes down and slams to the ground directly in front of both of you.
Oh.
A cascade of autumnal leaves picks up and sort of buries whatever object this thing was, but you could almost hear this like whooshing and this high-pitched streaking noise as something came into contact with the ground very quickly.
Do 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 do.
I love the thought of Alex just sitting there being like, do
sorry.
do do do.
Any grapes? No,
I thought you were doing something very different because I went to do.
I'm just always doodly doing.
She do be doodly doing.
Okay, so does this look like any creature that I have an ability apparently called Gifted Tracker. Does this look like anything I'm used to?
Are you unraveling like the leaves from this thing?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll just go right up to it.
Yeah, perfect. Give me, I would say, survival is like the closest thing to instinct, right?
I'd say it's an instinct, or yeah, or it could be a knowledge. I don't know. It's
Depends on what you're trying to
I
go
would say
for.
either instinct or agility.
okay.
For kind of how quickly you jump into action.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
In the meantime, Piper, what are you doing?
Kind of just like hasn't been in this forest before, and Wall is very confident in situations that are more like social stuff. When something random comes out in the dark, Piper's not prepared for that, so Piper just backs away a little bit. Just trying to put
You
some
back
distance.
away and like immediately bump into something or someone that like freaks you out a bit before you turn around and see your sister. Because Sonata and Calathea, you are able to... You hear this. You don't see it happen, but you hear it and you know that it's where Alex and Piper are, and you sort of make your way over to them to see what's going on.
Okay.
Alex, what's the roll?
I rolled a 13 for instinct.
For hope or
But-
fear?
Oh, that's with hope, actually, for once.
Very nice.
Fucking once. I add a hope onto my thing, right? Because I got it with
Yes.
hope. Hell yeah. Okay.
You, as like the rest of your troops, so like slowly start to gather around, you immediately take into this pile and just start, like, whooshing leaves off. And there's a part of you that is like, I don't know what this is or who this is, but this isn't right. It occurred to you that what you heard before it hit the ground was a scream.
Oh.
And
Humanoid scream?
a what?
A humanoid scream or like a creature?
Not even just a humanoid scream. Brushing the leaves off, you see what can only be described as, for some reason, the completely untouched, undamaged body of an unconscious human girl.
Shit.
And that is
Camilla-
where we're
oh,
going to go
what-
ahead and end
oh,
today's episode.
Wait a minute!
Fucking loud. I can't be loud. My grandparents are in bed. That's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, really.
Alexa can tell you, I'm a bit of a cliffhanger type person.
I can
And I love
tell. It's great.
I love it. At least it's not usually me having to make death saves on like the last section. Like we forget. Oh, Alexa had to make death saves.
Oh, I literally had it happen where in a D&D campaign, sadly I only had one session. I went down in the first session of a D&D campaign once.
Yep, I've had a friend do that.
That
Like
was-
completely
and it was-
dead first
The
session.
D&D had the rule, the DM had the rule that they rolled the death saves behind the things and we didn't know what our death saves were.
Nice.
I had a player kill a player in my first session.
Oh,
Oh, I've had that.
that's-
It was. I've had that happen
Not
too.
just down. They did enough hit points to go beyond
get
that.
it.
Yeah,
And
no,
it
I
felt
had
good.
that happen too. It was we were already doing like a running campaign. This player just kind of joined in mid campaign. This is in person. This was an in person campaign. And first time we meet this person, we're the interaction goes. They insult the one player's monkey, like pet monkey. The person who has the pet monkey turns around and just murders them.
You can insult me. You can insult my friends, but never insult my monkey.
Well, my players got
we-
into a battle with a group of goons, and one of the party members was a shapeshifter who decided to shapeshift into that goon. So our barbarian was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pull rage right into his back."
We
I
we
remember
had a lot
that
of
too, because
fun
he did
trying
not
to.
tell anybody that he was going to do this. And so they just ran in and were like, oh my god, it's one of the goons. And Barbarian crit rage, like 2d12 at level 1, is a lot of damage to do.
It's a lot of damage.
But we're probably going to be telling more D&D based stories, but I'm going to go ahead and bring the stream to an end anyway. So,
Yeah.
our heroes are in the middle of the Tenebrae forest with the unconscious body of a girl at the feet of Alex, who seems to have just plummeted from the sky. We will go ahead and see who this girl possibly is during our next session, where we may, in fact, have another player. And that player might just be what we need to fix this story. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Stompy, for following and staying abreast of the situation. If you guys liked what you see, please go ahead and hit that follow button. If you're seeing this on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe. Head over to Campfire Stories RPG on Twitch and hit that follow button. You'll be notified about when we go live, and you can watch these games live. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you at the Firelight.